Hey, race fans, this is Bull Butter. I thought the Triple Crown was something that you get at Burger King. You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's episode number 249 of the Auxiliary Gate Podcast. Today's date, July 27th, 2026. I'm CC Broaddus, joined by Mr. Henderson, Kentucky himself, Alan Schneider.
How we doing? I wish the people could have heard the intro that you just abandoned or whatever. It was rather suggestive and quite pornographic, but we had to delete that. I wish they could have heard that. I can't repeat it.
That will be in the outtakes. That
Yes.
will never be heard again.
Awesome.
Also here, Mr. Turf Pick 3 himself, Geoff Riggs.
Yes, sir. I might be Mr. Turf Pick 3, but I think Alan might be the new Mr. Ellis Park after his performance this past Friday. He absolutely knocked it out of the park on the desk there and in his own wagering, I might say.
Yes, but that's a one-off. That was a one-off. We all get lucky.
I don't know about that. We've seen you connect on a few of these.
That's a one a week, I think.
It was a good day, but at the same time, keep your head at the same level thing, whether you're up or you're down or whatever and stuff. But an over streak's coming, so we'll see.
Okay, before we get into the news of the day, and there is some significant news, local news, I want to tell a story. It just popped into my brain right before we went on air. There's a celebrity that lives in my town, part of the year.
Other than you?
Other than me. The town is big enough for the two of us.
Mm.
This celebrity, if you know me or you know anything about me, you probably know, you've heard me talk about this person.
Yes, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Anyway, they are a net positive for the community. They've done a lot of good, a lot of jobs. But I had a friend that worked for this person many years ago, and they told me that they have a maid staff, clean house and cook meals and stuff like that. Whoever is on the bottom of the totem pole has to do one extra job. And this is a true story that I heard. I heard it with my own ears. Let's put it that way. That person has to stay, especially when guests are in town, families in town. That person has to stay at the house as late as the guests or the family do.
Okay.
And when they're ready to go to bed, the low man on the totem pole has to go to each bedroom and turn the sheets down.
Okay.
They have to, if they want to go to midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it doesn't matter. They stay as late as each guest stays awake. And then they go to their bedrooms, turn the sheets back, and get the beds ready for them.
Man, that's service.
I have many questions. Why? Why do you need your sheets? Why can't I could do that myself? Is there an advantage to doing that?
I don't think I'm fancy enough for that, honestly.
I got to pull those sheets out. I can't have them tucked in. It just drives me nuts.
I get that. Why not just?
Yeah, I can do it.
Why not just do that initially? Is there something about a fresh bed that's just more enticing for the super wealthy?
I mean, maybe we can adopt that mentality. Who's a low man on the totem pole here? Maybe we can.
It's got to be me. I'm the newest, right?
Well, there you go. So, I
wouldn't mind I don't want you in my house after midnight.
That's fair. That's probably a good point, CC.
Depending on how many beers I had, we'll see if we stop at the sheets.
Yeah, you might get more than you bargained for. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was weird.
That is interesting. That's interesting.
News of the day: Kentucky Downs, according to Horse Racing Nation, is going to raise win, place, and show wager minimums to $5, which that's going to ruffle some feathers, I do believe. $5 will be the minimum wager on win, place, and show bets. So $2 is out the window. I would like to get you guys' thoughts on that. I'm looking for the article. I know they've lowered takeout as well, which is pretty nice. Uh, yeah, takeout on pick three, pick four, pick five wagers goes to 15%. They're introducing a $3 late pick three. There will also be a $5 late double and a $5 minimum on exactas in the last race. Takeout for exacta remains 19.25%, and the rate for trifecta, superfecta, super high five, double, and pick six wagers remain 20%. But the big news, the win play show wagers go to $5. Alan, we'll start with you because I know you don't have an opinion and you'll be brief.
Yeah, I think Jeff and I are a little bit contrary on this one. I don't see. I think it's they put a solution to a problem that didn't exist. I personally don't see what's wrong with the $2 minimum. There's some other minimums I like to see raised. I think they made some other strides in some other areas, but I know that 75% of the people out there are who go to Kentucky Downs driving in from Tennessee or whatever. They're not there to bet a ton of money. People have a tendency to forget about those people. That $5 that's gonna ruffle some feathers, especially with the admission price is already pretty high and stuff. I don't think I never thought it was an issue. Now I know there's about a bubble of about 300 people on Twitter who are automatically going to say this is a good thing just because I think they feel like they're supposed to. But I think those same people are supposed to boycott the track anyway. So I just don't think it's that. I think it's going to piss some people off in the general admission area. Does it affect me that much? No, but I mean, was it really a necessity to raise show betting to $5? What's the point? I fail to see the point personally, but that's enough for me.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on all of this actually. So my number one thought is very similar to, at least on the only on the win play show wagering going up to $5. My same thought is CC's views on the turning down of the sheets is just why. I don't
Yeah.
understand why. I do like the raising of the minimums on the multi-race wagers, on the pick threes, the $5 double, that $3 pick three. I think that's great. Even the exact I think is cool because that changes how people approach their ticket making. So it
Yes.
rewards you for creativity
Yes.
in
I'm
those types
all
of
behind
things.
that.
So we were talking about the Ellis Turf Pick 3, that's $3. I love that wager, and a big reason why I love that wager is because it's a $3 minimum. That's why it pays so well when you get a 9-2 shot in there that plays like a 12-1 would in a 20-cent
Yes.
pick six. So I love that part of it absolutely. I don't really understand the $5 minimum on one place show. My initial thought was, are there really going to be that many people that play it for $2 that won't pay it for $5? And maybe I'm wrong about that. I know, Alan, it seems like you think that there are people that will be turned off by that, but I kind of don't understand why win place and show isn't $1 or 50
Yeah.
cents. Like it's not going to affect the wagering pool at all. What the
Right.
base denomination for those wagers are.
I think it's a dangerous slope because real quick because like when you bet sports, you can bet I'm telling you, the people that I'm around every day are not in this horse racing bubble. They don't care hardly anything about horse racing. But when they bet sports, one of the things that they like is they can bet us 17 cents or they can bet $1.18 or they can bet $37.42. And I've had them ask me all the time, it's like, why does it have to be this? So I think you're just going to alienate a fraction of those people. And again, if I'm not exactly sure why you're doing it and stuff. I'm a proponent of a dollar trifectas and dollar pick fours. If they got rid of the 50-cent pick four, I'd be okay with it. I think a pick four should be at least $1 or whatever. But I also never want to admonish anybody for playing a 50-cent pick four or playing a 50-cent pick three. But they do water down the payoffs and stuff. So it just feels
Yeah.
like a solution to a problem that didn't exist. And I'm not really sure what the overall benefit is. I think some people are programmed to say that, oh, it's awesome because that's what they just read on Twitter and stuff. But I just don't really see the point in it. CC, you haven't chimed in.
I don't have an opinion, but I will say this. If it's good for business, then the rest of it doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting I think it's a good thing. If you're going to try this, try it at a boutique meet like Kentucky Downs. It's only
That's
what,
fair.
7 days.
I will say
and
the
you'll
headline
know.
has been on this that $5 minimum win play show wager is the headline. I think the takeout being reduced and upping those multi race wagers is going to be it's going to have a way bigger impact in general on the
Yes.
wagering public than this $5 minimum win play show.
It's almost like that buries the lead. It's like you'd have had, I
Buries
think
the
you'd have,
lead. Yeah.
yeah, I think you'd have had bigger overall handshakes or pats on the back if you just did all that and then just kept the minimums. Because again, at the end of the day, I don't know if $2, $5 means that much. But at the same time, but I just know that the people who are there who are already paying far too much for popcorn and beer and soft drinks and bringing their kids and they want to give their kids $2 a bet with and blah blah. Now you bring three kids and I give them $15 a bet with and blah blah. All these little things add up and stuff. So I don't know what the net positive is from that perspective. But I agree with you. I think they buried the overall positive lead of the increased minimums on the other wagers and the reduced takeout.
I kind of agree with you on the sports betting thing too. Like at least online, like I get that it would take time for people in line at like physical tellers if they're betting 17 cents to win on somebody and then,
Yeah.
cashing the ticket and then having the coins come
Hey,
back out to them. That's ridiculous. But like on Twin Spires, why can't you bet 10 cents to win on a horse? Like that doesn't hurt anybody.
48 cents or you just want to get rid
Yeah.
of your change. You got $148.19. So you just bet, I was going to bet $48.19.
Yeah.
I always wondered
There's a
that.
ton of people with 47 cents in their Twin Spires account right now that would bet 47 cents to win on a horse.
My buddies who are very intelligent have asked me that for a long time is why do I have to bet in increments of $2 or three? Why can't I bet, so they asked me that. But again, that goes back to the ancient tote technology, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I've always wondered. I've always thought this was coming though at all racetracks because of, inflation, and you
Yeah.
always read articles about how handles down when it's inflation adjusted. I mean, 10 years ago, I'm just reading right now, $2 today has roughly the same purchasing power as at about $1.45 10 years
Oh,
ago.
there's no question. It was worse than that.
And then let me see where $2 today has roughly the same purchasing power as about 34 cents 50 years ago. So it just stands to reason that, I mean, everything goes up over time. Why not the minimum wager? And
I think
like I
we need a
said,
mutuals person on to tell us how much of the handle are $2 betters though. Because I
Yeah.
don't know that I really believe that it really matters. Like in
That's a
the
distinct
big
possibility.
scheme of things.
They get a lot on Derby
right.
week, I
And it
can
goes
tell
back
you
to my
that.
point. If it's good for
Hmm.
business, if it's good for
Yeah.
business, it doesn't matter what we think. So we'll
Right.
know this time next year if it goes back to normal or if anybody else decides to go with it. This is what I don't like. I don't like now that the end of the card is now the where you have to dole out some money to play these wagers though. I wish they would space them out a little bit. I don't like a $3 late pick three, and I don't like a $5 late double, and I don't like a $5 minimum exacta. If I want to, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I would prefer, they have the technology now, like the turf pick three to Ellis. It's a separate wager on your wagering pad.
Hmm.
I
I
just
like
rather
that.
do it that way and get back to the dollar minimums.
I don't
Because
hate
I
that.
mean,
Do like the $5 double starting in race 5 and then the late pick $3 or something. That's fine.
right? I don't want it all on
All at
because
once. Yeah.
that's the part of the card I like the most. Usually, the better races on the back in the card. They're just more enjoyable to play, and now now I got to lose more money than I
Well, I
normally
just
do.
think
So
I think the biggest and I don't hear people talk about this. I know Jeff, you feel this way, and the biggest overall benefit of the raised minimums for exotic wagers, such as a pick three, is it rewards you for not overspreading. It
Yep.
makes you play your opinion. It makes you target and this and that. It makes you be, I mean, really what you should be doing anyway, right? To go 2 by 1 by 3, or to go 2 by 1 by 2. It rewards a solid opinion, and it's kind of like betting to win. It's like you'll never bet against yourself if you're just betting to win. And so, and of course, it's hard to hit cold deck a pick three, but it rewards you if you play the races in a narrow fashion, so or a semi-narrow fashion or whatever. I think it actually strengthens people's thought processes overall in theory.
Yep.
well,
I think so too.
supposedly it keeps the CAWs out too. But the
Oh,
combination
that's
of
always a good.
the high minimum, and the uh, the reduced takeout should reduce the CAW's interest. Allegedly, I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, that's what we've always been told. Okay. All right. We're gonna do a new segment on today's show that we'll probably forget to do
Yay.
next week. We're
So true.
gonna try it. So this past weekend, the three of us covered the races at Ellis Park on the simulcast show. Alan was Friday. Geoff was Saturday. I think I was Sunday. I blacked out. I can't remember exactly, but I was told I did Sunday. We're going to give out horses to watch coming out of those races on those respective days. So it just stands to reason that Friday would be first. Alan, we'll send it to you.
Okay, I like this. Well, I like this segment. Number one, it was my idea, but no, seriously, I liked it because I think you're paying a little more attention. You're focused on the track and this and that. So you've seen the races. I'll come up with three real quick. I don't want to take too long. It's bias. I don't care. It's Michelle's horse, Song of D Win. It was in the fourth race. It was a straight maiden on the turf, and she doesn't usually win first time out, but she can. I thought the horse broke a little bit slow, but she likes the horse. The barn likes the horse. Thought the horse got shuffled back a little bit on the turn. Came again late to rally inside. I thought was fairly game. I expect a better effort down the road. This horse has a little bit of talent, consider especially the cheap purchase price. So Song of D Win is one. Uh, Union Mist for Brennan Walsh and Ben Curtis, Joe Christopheck's Man Crush horse. It was a 5 horse race that this horse competed in, and there was a big time Bob Beffert horse coming back off of a break. Conquest. I'm forgetting the name. You guys can help me out. But that horse got a dream trip sitting right off a pace, and I thought Union Mist set a good trip inside. Was resolute, consequent, yeah. Took aim at the top of the stretch from about 5-6 lengths back. Even though Consequent has a lot of talent and got a dream trip, Union Mist just tried resolutely all the way to the wire. Despite the favorable pace scenario, I thought for a little bit Union Mist might get there. So the race was so good that I think down the road we can keep an eye on Union Mist, even though she has a penchant for not winning. The other rest of the field was pretty so-so. It could have been a fool's gold because Liam in the Dust is not the horse he used to be, and the other one in the race whose name escapes me, I'm sure you guys can remember. It's Riley Mott's horse, Sun Switch. They're not the same horse, so in theory it could have been simply a 2-horse race. But I thought Union Miss ran very well, and then in the finale, Ian Wilkes has a legit sprinter named Yo Fancy who dropped from out of the clouds, dropped from outer space on debut to get second. That actually fooled Travis Stone. He was running so fast at the end. Thought the race could be pace developed, could be a result of the pace. As it turns out, it wasn't because he solidified that effort at Ellis with the maiden win at Ellis and still got by him that day. Went right by another nice Bob Baffert horse. So Yo Fancy, Union Mist, and Song of the Win for me. Jeff? Jeff.
Yeah. Yo Fancy would have been my pick from your day as well, Alan. That horse just has a turn of foot that you don't see often. You can just tell a horse is special when you see that kind of performance,
Yes.
and that one's done it twice now. You sometimes see it once, or it's circumstantial, or just a flash in the pan. But now that one's backed it up, I think definitely a prospect to look at moving forward. You were an overachiever with 3, Alan. I only have 1 from my day, but
That's
I did
fine.
look at Saturday, race 6. I also went to that Brendan Walsh well, which is a good place to be right now. He's still winning almost 50% on the meet, I believe. But race 6, it was a 7 furlong maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up, and Pimlott, a first-time starter for Brendan
Yes.
Walsh, was extremely impressive in my opinion. That one looked amazing in the paddock and post-parade and warm-up. Joe and I talked about how good that one looked, and that's something that you really do have to put into your handicapping. You make your picks early on and go into a day like that, but especially if it's a race that's like starting off a sequence or even just for like intra race wagering, especially with these young horses that have never run before or only a few times. You really have to look at the physical, and I'm no expert in that category by any means, but I could tell that this horse was just ready to run, looked incredible. professionally stalked early, took over, and then gamely held off an outside challenger as well. So showed that
Yeah.
Pimlot's got a little racehorse in there as well. So should be able to go longer too. 7 furlongs on debut is not the easiest distance to debut at. So Pimlot's the one to look for moving forward for me.
Real quick, I'd agree with that because I thought Pimlott looked really good, and I can't remember the horse that came at him, and you could tell Pimlott it was just
It was
still
a
had plenty left.
short word like Shake or something. I don't know. It was the 4 horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had. It's like this horse looked like he can go right by, but it's like no, the horse had far too much left. So yeah,
Yeah.
Pimlott, good. That's a good one. CC.
Okay, I got 4 on
Oh my
Sunday.
goodness.
It's got 4,
Yeah.
man. I thought Allen was overachieving. Okay.
Yeah, I had 3 and I just remembered one more, but they're all easy. There's nothing out of the ordinary about these. I mean, they're all gonna get well bet in their next start. 3 of them are 2-year-olds. Race 2, Bluegrass Princess for Kim McPeak, first time starter debuting at a mile on dirt. This is a daughter of Tiz the Law, out of a mare that produced Lovely Princess, who was a stakes filly from McPeak on the grass. Anchored near the back, made a wide move, got up for third. I would love to see this filly come back at Kentucky Downs in about a month. I think that did her a world of good, and I think she's got a little bit of talent. And I think those Tiz the Laws like to run on turf just as much as they do on dirt. Plus the breeding on the dam side. I think Bluegrass Princess is live. Put her in your stable mail. Race 5 on Sunday. Just Vote, 2-year-old son of early voting, who has had a really nice work tab, a very expensive 2-year-old in training purchase. She absolutely blew the brake, had a little bit of traffic trouble going into the turn, extracted himself, looked like he would win by a pole at the top of the stretch, but he flattened out, got beaten by a horse that had a little more experience, had 2 starts. Brendan Walsh, colt. Just Vote flattened out to finish second. Obviously, that's going to do him a world of good. Riley Mott, horses usually improve with experience. I would expect this one to come back, maybe at Churchill, going 2 turns, maybe, or even a stretch out to a mile. So, yeah, Just Vote. Put that one on your radar. Race 7. This is an easy one. Oblivious, the Bob Baffert, son of Gunrunner out of Restless Rider, $1.2 million September yearling purchase. Was it last and made a wide rally. By the way, did anybody think that the outside paths were no good this weekend?
I didn't dawn on me. Maybe I'll think about it now.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's not something that really jumped out at me either. But now thinking back on it, I think you might be right there, CC. There was a lot of them that were kind of looked like they were going to really make a run and go by and didn't.
Yeah, well, this is another one. He actually finished okay. He got up for 4th, like I said, on a track that may have favored inside paths. And to me, his work tab didn't look like a true Bob Baffert work tab, where he just set him down like a drill sergeant, just every week a bullet. I think maybe once this one gets under the care of the true Baffert barn, maybe he goes back to California. I have no idea what they're planning to do, but I think this horse is live wherever he winds up next, and he could be a Triple Crown Trail horse. And then the horse I forgot, last race on the grass.
Yep, I know you're going to say. Yep, you're right.
My Lucky Penny.
Yep.
Right? Was that the one?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So My Lucky Penny for Matthew Sims. If you're looking to claim a horse, this might be the one. If he comes back to the same price, was in an absolute balls to the wall speed duel all the way around. He took pressure from More Cheese, Please. They opened up 7 or 8 lengths onto the backstretch. Looked like he was just going. He should have had every right to fold it up and go home. He did not. He kept on going. Run down by Courageous Clay late.
Yep.
He did get a little tired in the final furlong, but yeah, that was a nice effort. Looks like the horse should enjoy grass going forward. So the only downside is that wasn't the best of fields. So I don't know if I'd want him for 50 at Churchill Downs, but maybe you would, maybe depending on the field. But that was a really nice effort.
Courageous Clay looked like he's going to go blow right by him, and he did go by him easily. But he actually showed some fight despite battling his ass off for 6 furlongs and held off anybody else. All the other horses, I mean, they couldn't get to My Lucky Penny. I thought it was a huge effort.
Yeah, I thought so too.
All right, it's special guest time. Alan, please do the honors.
Sure thing. Yeah, we like to keep our eyes open here on the podcast for both up and comers and folks making noise at Turfway Park, Ellis Park, etc. And tonight's guest checks both of those boxes. After winning her first career race as a trainer at Churchill Downs this meet, former jockey Shelbi Kurtz followed up with another win at Ellis this past week, making this training game look so easy. Shelbi, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys.
First off, Shelbi Kurtz. The Shelby is with an I, correct? Just so everybody knows. It's
Yes.
Shelbi with an I. Okay, no Y,
Yes.
right? The
No
way it's
Y.
supposed to be spelled.
Yeah, just an I.
Gotcha. All right.
My parents like to be different, I guess.
Good for them. Good for them. First off, congrats on the 2 wins so far. Just so people know, I'm sure they're starting to hear your name a little bit and wonder who Shelbi Kurtz is. Just so they know, Shelbi Kurtz is 2 for 8 lifetime as a trainer. That's 25% for people who can't do basic math. Those are Brad Cox, Chad Brown type numbers. You think you can keep that strike rate up for the next 20 or 30 years?
Oh, that's ambitious, but I mean, that's what we strive for. I think that's what everyone strives for, but we all know there's ups and downs in this game.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of cool. Is that I don't, those guys are even batting 25% right now, so you might be among the leaders nationwide in percentage. You need to look that up later on. All right, you
I
might be the
should,
top
yeah.
10 or so. That's awesome. How did becoming an official head trainer with your own stable of horses, because that just started this year, I believe, how did that come about?
Well, I am actually private for one guy, and he claims horses and buys horses, and he majority owns part of. I actually was introduced to him the last year Jason Barkley trained racehorses. He trained for him when I was Jason's assistant, and then Jason got out of the business and quit training, and now he's a jocks agent. But
Right.
he reintroduced me to that guy, Derek Hayden, and was basically like, hey, this guy's from Evansville. He's looking for somebody that's a private trainer, and most of us know how hard it is to train in this business, especially when you're going up against guys like Brett Cox and Chad Brown, and they have one for every race, and us little guys, we have a hard time competing, with the funds that they have to buy such nice horses. We run our nice horses that cost 50 to 75,000, and Brad's got one for 150 or more in the same race. It's tough. So when I got presented the opportunity to privately train for someone that has, the ambition to be a good owner and do the right things and take care of his horses, and he wants to learn and he wants to be at the top, it seemed like something that I couldn't turn down.
Fantastic. And how many horses do you have with Mr. Hayden right now?
6, because I just had one claimed from me, so I am down to 6 now.
So is he perpetually looking to claim, or is this a continuous
Yes.
thing?
So we shopped the Maryland Fazig sale. We're kind of looking at the digital sale a little bit. We sit down, every week on Monday, Tuesday, and kind of go through the races for the next week and look at potential claims. And then we send everything that, we like together to, the group of people that are already in on some horses, people that want to get in but haven't quite gotten brave enough to, test the waters and kind of see if we can get some new people involved and things like that. But it's something, like he values, my opinion. He wants to know like what I think, what horses can we claim? Which ones can we run right back? What's good for everyone? So it's very refreshing compared to what I've been used to. Cause I've worked for a little bit of everyone, and I don't think I've worked with anyone quite so, when things don't go the way that we think they're supposed to go, like Join's last race, he didn't compete to, what we know his capabilities are. And nobody ever seems to really get discouraged. They're always like, well, as long as they come back healthy, there's always next time. And that's so refreshing in this business.
Well, it's not like you have a bunch of people with good heads on their shoulders then, right? That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Very much so. You know, they're more concerned about the animals' well-being and how the animals are doing more than making the money or getting the win picture. And that's hard to come by, you know, especially when you get, you know, big in the business. The wins are nice. Everybody wants to win, but
Yeah,
that's never, you know, when things don't go the way that we think they're going to go, nobody's first question is, well, what happened? What went wrong? It's, is the horse okay? And that's very
fantastic.
refreshing for me.
Cool. That's fantastic. And just so people get an idea overall, people who not be familiar with how this thing works, what are some of the challenges that you faced this year or are still facing that you didn't expect as the head honcho of a new barn? I mean, I'm sure there's things that you expected. Has there been other speed bumps along the way that you didn't foresee?
Um, I mean, not necessarily I didn't foresee, because more than anything, I don't care. I don't care what anybody tells you. This game is more about luck than anything. My horses can be fit. I can be doing all the right things, but when it boils down to it, when you lead one over to the paddock, or even if you're dropping a claim slip or whatever it is that you're doing,
Yes.
you have to have some luck. You know, the only things that have been hard, I would say, things that have kind of been an issue is I think since I took out my license when I got back from fairgrounds this winter, I've probably dropped over 50 claim slips. And
How many
I
have you gotten?
and of the ones that we've claimed, five.
Wow. See, it's tough. It's tough in Kentucky,
So
isn't it, man?
the claiming the game is tough, and you know, and I understand like the rules that we have are very important as far as claiming goes. Like Keeneland is, you know, open, you can go claim whatever. Churchill, you have to have started a horse in Kentucky to be able to claim there. So like one of the horses that I claimed from the beginning, like I had to run him back not too soon. He was ready. It was fine, but I had to run him in a spot that was considerably way over his head, and he ran as such. But I had to do it so I could claim horses in Churchill, like claim horses at Churchill and have the opportunity to build my stable. And like we have those rules for a reason, and they're great rules, but it's just it's hard, and it's one of those things that's kind of hard for like new owners too to understand, like, oh, well, why are we running
Yes.
this horse in this spot? And but they want more horses they want to claim, and it's like, well, if we want to claim horses, we need to run a horse, and this is the only spot that we can run this horse in, and not potentially lose him, because we claimed him, you know, for 30, and then we ran him back in a starter. So it's just obviously that race is going to be too tough for him, but anything can happen. Like I said, it's like he could have jumped. You never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen, but I think trying to accumulate horses and like build my stable has been probably the hardest part. You know, it's especially being stable at Ellis. Like once we were here and settled in, is driving to Churchill for every race day, like driving up and down the road to go drop a slip, to be in a 20-way shake, you know, against people like Brad and Joe Sharp and all these trainers that have 300,
Linda
400 head of
Rice.
horses, and I have like five, and I'm like, I just need to win a shake. Like I just need a
Yeah.
little bit of luck here, you know. And good for those guys too. Like they have also worked just as hard at some point, and they're probably still doing it in their training career to get where they are. But it can be frustrating to, you know, be in a 20-way shake and lose the shake to Brad or Joe or Maker, and that part is a little bit frustrating for me being a
I'm
new
sure.
trainer. And like
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
that's all things that I knew. Like I've been an assistant for years for claiming trainers, and I know these things happen, but for some reason, and like I've always given my 110% for everybody else that I've worked for, but for some reason, when it's yours, it's a little bit more aggravating when you lose those
Understood.
kind of shakes.
Yeah, you got to explain to your owners and stuff that I'm doing this because of Linda Rice. Linda Rice, that's the reason that rule was implemented, if I'm not mistaken. But they can
Correct.
go look that up. They can go look that up.
Yeah,
But there's a
we
reason they do it.
we all
Yeah.
call that the Linda rule. That's not what they call it officially in the book, but us as trainers, you know, we all call it the Linda rule.
Yep. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. You got a young daughter too, so has it been tough to juggle the whole trainer thing with being a mom as well too?
Um, yes Yes and no. I'm very lucky. Like my daughter loves my fiance, and they spend a lot of time together. And Jason is my daughter's dad, and he
Right.
helps a lot with her and brings her to the barn and does I have very good people standing behind me to help me with that. But honestly, it's really not any different from when I was an assistant
Of course, of
trainer.
course.
Like when I got pregnant with her, when we finally did the math, I was riding races. I had won 2 races at Turfway. When we figured out that I was pregnant with her.
Oh,
Yeah, so those last 2 races that I rode at Turfway, I was pregnant during, like, those were like the first couple weeks I was pregnant.
you were in full. You were in
Ye-
full.
Yeah, so my child is actually a winning rider as well.
That's cool.
Um, but I galloped until I was 5.5 months pregnant, and then I rode the pony until I was 7.5 months pregnant, and then I groomed like 5 until like a week before she was born, and then I went back to work 4 days after she was born, running the shed
Ooh.
row. Like she's either I was wearing her in like one of the baby carriers, or she was in a bassinet in the tack room. But Jason had went to Saratoga, and I went back to work. So I she's just a track baby, so she's very easy. Like she knows, and she loves the barn, so that makes things a lot easier as well. My office is very much set up for her and the dog. Like there's a couch in there and a good air conditioner, and she's got half of her toys in my office. And the barn, like my groom that I have is great. Like she'll go out there and help him, and I just have a lot of everyone that works for me. My owners know that I'm a mom first, and everybody that I have standing behind me, like her dad and my fiance, like they help a lot, and it makes it so much easier.
I bet it does. Um, your base, Ellis, I made sure I confirmed this with you. Ellis is like your home base, right? Um,
Correct.
and so how special was it? It was last Friday because you got your first win at Churchill in the
Correct.
spring, but you got your first win at Ellis at your home track last week in a very thrilling race with a horse named Duquette. How awesome was that to get that first win on your home track in a race that went right down the wire? I think the horse got his nose down the wire. So, what was that like?
That was great. It's always nice when you win a race at one of the smaller tracks where you spend a lot of time. And I remember going to Ellis when I was younger with my grandfather and him running races there. So it's exciting to win, where your friends are. And like we're all family in this business, and like I got a lot of, congratulations after Join ran, but it's so much different when everyone that you're close with is there and they tell you congratulations in person, and you can see how excited they are for you in their face. And that was really exciting. And Aria's always excited. My daughter, she was like, "Mom, did we win?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We have to watch. Let's see if Adam got it." And they put the photo up on it. She's like, "We got it." Like she knows. So that's really exciting that like she knows when we win, and she watches, and that's so exciting. And if she makes all of her friends, they have the kids zone there at Ellis, which is great. And she always makes all friends. And she's like, my mom trains horses. My mom just won a race. Like it's just so cute to see how excited she is about everything that
Amazing.
goes on.
Pumping that chest out. And like
Yeah.
how racehorses have their prep races to prep them for the next race. That was my prep question to get you to the next question, right?
Uh-huh.
Because a little backstory here. I was on the TV desk with Joe Christofek that day watching your race with Ducat, and we're watching you in the winner's circle. When Joe and I are talking about how awesome is it that you got your first win at Ellis and blah blah blah, and then we're preparing for the next race, looking at the TV monitor, and it's like there's Shelbi Kurtz again. I just saw her. She went from the winner's circle. If my eyes are not deceiving me, into the stall with a Derby prospect for Bob Baffert, who was at Ellis Park that day, and you were saddling his potential Derby monster for next year, a horse called Salahad, who won easy. Uh,
Yeah.
what was that like? How did that work out?
Um So like my grandfather, he knows Bob's parents, and I met Bob for the first time at a young age at like the Fazig Maryland sale, like a long time ago. And Bob's great. He's not what everybody thinks he is. And I actually was sitting in the racing office claiming one at Churchill with Bob's assistant Dan Ward, and there was a couple people asking like, oh, can I ship into you at, Ellis, so I don't have to send help, and we'll just, you can saddle and handle everything. And I'm like, yeah, sure, like, why not? And Bob's assistant Dan was like, hey, like, I'll take you up on that offer too. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I used to work for Dan at Oaklawn. Like, Dan's great. And like, never in a million years did I ever think I'd see Bob Baffert at Ellis.
Yeah.
Like Dan always comes, or if he can't come, he'll let me know. And he texts me that morning and he goes, hey, Bob's on his way. I was like, excuse me?
And what?
Who's on his way? Yeah, he was like, Bob's on his way. I was like, oh, like, okay. And so we're there, and when Bob Baffert pulls up to my barn, I'm actually holding his colt because he started kind of getting a little antsy. We had somebody shipping in on the other side with a van, and Aria's playing in the shed row, and he gets out of the car with Donato, and he stops and he bends down and he, asks Aria, he's like, what's your name? And she's like, I'm Aria. And she goes, I'm Bob. And he shakes her hand and talks to her for a minute. And then he gets over and he comes and talks to me. And Aria walks up and goes, is this your horse? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, my mom trains horses too. And I'm like, oh, child, you have no idea that you're talking to the best country or the best horse trainer in the country right now, And Bob just smiles and laughs. And, I think everybody has in their head that Bob is like, has the best horses in the country, that he's just, he's arrogant and all. And he's not. He is very kind. He's really not everything that everyone thinks he is. He's very laid back, His horse was getting upset, and any other trainer could have thrown a fit about the other trainer shipping into my barn. And he was just like, this isn't ideal, but it works. It'll be fine. And then he was like, I'll see you in the paddock. And, left with Donato. And then Ducat won, and I'd gotten Bob's horse ready before I went over with my horse. And I'm standing in the paddock, and everybody's walking by me while I'm standing there with Bob. And they're like, oh, Shelby, congratulations, congratulations. I was like, oh, thanks, guys, blah, blah, blah. And Bob goes, what just happened? I was like, oh, I just won the last race. He was like, oh, shit, congratulations. I was like, thanks, Bob. I was like, but never in a million years did one, I think I'd ever see Bob Baffert at Ellis Park. And two, Bob Baffert congratulating me on winning a race. So that was pretty exciting for
It's
me.
almost like you upstage Bob Baffert for a little bit. That you kind of did there for a little bit.
And
That's amazing.
I always have been. I've always been the biggest Bob Baffert fan, even when he, was suspended from Churchill and all the things. Like, I've never traded up on Bob. Like, I have been a diehard Bob Baffert fan for the longest time. Like, the longest time.
So how was he received at Ellis? Number one, what did he think of Ellis, and how did the people receive him at Ellis?
So I had asked him while we were waiting for his colt to walk up, and I was like, are you tired of signing autographs and getting your picture taken yet? And he started laughing. And I was like, so what do you think of, the old pea patch? And he goes, when I was a quarter horse trainer, there was a lot worse places that you could be than Ellis Park. He goes, this place is quite all right compared to some of the places that I trained at when I was a quarter horse trainer and things like that. I was like, oh, so Ellis Park gets a big pat on the back from Bob. I love that for us. He actually quite enjoyed it. At one point, he kind of before the race was walking around in the grandstands, unbothered. And it's very rare to see Bob being unbothered. But I just every time I turned around, there was somebody like, oh, Bob, can we take a picture with you? Bob, can we this? I'm like, let this poor man just saddle his horse for heaven's sakes, And he was funny because we went back and we were talking after the horse was in the winner's circle. And he's like, did you hear the track announcer trying to get me beat?
Tony Kalo.
He just kept saying that. It was so funny because that's like, if we were watching, I went back and watched the replay because I didn't really pay attention to it. And it was like Salahuddin with not really going anywhere. And And Bob's like, he was trying to get me beat.
We'll
And
have
it
to
was
talk to Tony
so
Kalo
funny.
about that. We'll talk to him about that. We're buddies at the announcer, so
Oh
we'll
my
have
gosh,
to bring that up to
Bob
him.
just couldn't get over that part. He was like, they were trying to get me beat up there.
That's awesome. So marketing department at Ellis Park, you need to talk to Shelby and stuff, and maybe put some stuff out about Bob's enjoying his visit. I know it's not exactly Del Mar, but it sounds like he had a pretty decent time. So
Yeah, he
thanks for being
did.
that liaison for us, sir, Shelby.
Yeah.
All right, Cece, would you like to take the reins now?
Hey, go to Geoff next. I want to go
Oh,
last.
Geoff.
All
Okay,
right,
so
I'll take it. Yeah, hey, I'm chomping at the bit over here for sure. I'm just enjoying the story so far. That whole thing with Bob was really funny, and yeah, Shelby, I'm just glad to have you on. I tell you what, you've hit the ground running in your training career, and we knew you as a jockey. I just kind of wanted to go back to the beginning a little bit. You've referenced your grandpa a couple of times. That is Rick Jordan, correct? Who you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know that I've heard you before talk about him and how he's kind of been your idol in racing. Is he the reason that you started in this game in general?
Uh, yes. And he desperately wanted me to not do this.
Interesting.
He
We've
tried
heard
very
that story
hard.
before. Yeah.
He very much tried to get me, not necessarily not in the business, but I remember I wanted to ride so bad. And I had show horses. I always had ponies, or retired race horses that I've showed. And then when I wanted to gallop, my grandpa's like, no, you don't, no, you don't, no, you don't. Meanwhile, I'm at the racetrack with him every day, leading horses back and forth to the track. Then it was River Downs. You know, spent every day with him, getting up, 3:30 in the morning, feeding the farm, and all I wanted to do was gallop race horses. And I galloped my first one on the track because I broke babies and galloped on the farm, but the first one on the track at Turfway. And my grandpa put me on the worst horses that he had in the barn, like the worst
On purpose, I'm
horses,
sure, right? Yeah.
on purpose,
Uh-huh.
trying to make me not want to do this. And then I turned out to be really good hand and a very good rider. And then it went from my grandpa not wanting me to gallop on the racetrack to when are you taking out your jock's license? So
Hmm.
it did a big 180 from I don't want you to ride, I don't want this for your life to all right, you're really good at this, so we need to do more with this for your life. It did
That's
take a big
funny.
180, but yes, my grandpa plays a very big role as to where I am today for sure.
That's interesting. We've heard that same story from multiple jockeys, actually. The people closest to them who were in the industry did everything they could to deter them from going into that realm of the industry, and it's incredibly dangerous. So, as you know,
Yeah.
so I'm sure it's out of a place of love for sure, but you couldn't be deterred. Um, so, you said from a young age you wanted to be a jockey. How early on did you know that you wanted to be involved in horse racing?
I remember I remember going through old photos, and this will take you guys back. My grandparents have a picture of me at Beulah Park riding my grandfather's stable pony around. Um, and I have pictures with Jane McGraw at Thistle Downs and me on the pony with her breezing my grandpa's nicer horses and like seeing my grandfather riding female jockeys, and he always preferred a female rider in the barn. Our gallop girls were female. He rode a lot of female jockeys, and it's like girls can do this too. Like, and I think we have to work a lot harder than the guys do, but females can do this. And, seeing my grandpa be so supportive and, helping other female riders kind of help them give them their name, like it gives you a little bit of, hope as a female in this industry. Like my grandfather helping them out, like giving them nice horses to ride when, I was younger. It's like, I can do this too. Like I have somebody standing behind me that wants to help me and wants to see me do good. Like I need to take this opportunity that I have and make the best of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're seeing that kind of across the industry now as well. I mean, it's not anywhere close to 50-50, obviously, but there are a lot of female jockeys who are having a lot of success right now and absolutely holding their own. Your first win was for your grandfather, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's a cool full circle moment there of him doing everything he could to prevent you from becoming a jockey to being the trainer of your first winner in your riding days.
Yeah, he
Um,
was there for my win at Churchill as well.
Very cool. Very cool.
So
I'm glad he is. Sounds like he's been very supportive of you throughout your journey.
very
Um,
much so.
when you were riding, do you have a favorite horse that you ever rode during your days as a jockey?
Um, ooh, that's a really good question. I think probably the horse that was my favorite was when I was working for Jason Barkley. His
Hmm.
name was Aren't You Ready?
Yeah.
I won. That's the horse that I won 2 races in a row on, actually.
Well, that's a good
Yeah.
reason for that one to be your favorite. Absolutely.
I actually, after I quit riding races and he ended up in somebody else's barn, I followed him along and I actually got him back as a pony.
Oh,
They
cool.
gave him back to me and then I sold him to a friend, and that horse is actually here at Ellis Park ponying the races.
Oh, that's very cool.
So
That's awesome.
full circle there, yeah.
Yeah.
He was probably my favorite horse to ride in the afternoon. He always gave so much. He always tried so hard for me.
Yeah.
I think, and I haven't checked, but I want to say I won 2 races on him, and I think he started like 12 more times after he left my care, and only won one other time. And then I finally got him back, and I ran him twice after that, and he ran a huge second at Turfway for me with Jermaine Bridgemahan and just got beat, and I knew I was short, like I knew I needed another work, but the race came up and I was like, he likes this surface, like let's just give it a shot. And he just barely got beat for second, and then I ran him one more time after that and his throat got bad on me, and that's when I retired him and made him a pony.
He's
But
a true racehorse. Those are the kinds that we
yes.
love as handicappers too. That we know that you can count on that horse to give their 110% effort every time, and you can tell that they love their job. And I think that's why a lot of people fall in love with this game as well. Honestly,
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah. Do you think that your experience as a rider has helped you in your training career so far? And do you get on your horses in the mornings too?
So yeah, I gallop all of my own and I breeze my own most of the time. Occasionally I'll have the jocks come or my fiance, because it is important to, like, yeah, I like to get on my own. I like to know how they feel. I love to ride, but like I also need to watch them go sometimes too, because there'll be horses that you get on and you're like, oh, this horse goes pretty good. You're like, oh, we could work on this or work on that. And then you watch them go and you're like, oh, that is not what I was thinking. That is not how I felt it. So it's important to see them go too. But I get on them most of the time. I think where me being a jockey benefits me, I think when I leg the riders up in the paddock, I think they have a little bit more of a respect for what I say as
Yeah.
far as like when I give my instructions, because they know I've been out there. They know that I know what it's like to ride a race, and they know that I know the things don't go always the way we plan for them to go or the way we want them to go. So I think, when I'm telling my rider that, hey, like, this is what I think about this horse, this is what I think we need to do, I think they take what I could say into a lot more consideration, knowing that I gallop on my own, knowing that I've been in the irons in the afternoon. I think they just have a little bit more of a respect for my instructions
Yeah.
than, not that
That's
they
an
I'm not saying
interesting
that they don't
perspective.
not saying that they don't respect their trainers, because trainers know their horses. I just think that I just have a little bit more understanding, and I think that they realize that too.
Yeah, it's a unique perspective, and you can probably deliver it in a way that is more actionable as well. I think probably
Yeah.
there. So that's something, yeah, I hadn't thought about, but we've talked to riders about their their opinions on instructions from trainers and like how much they want to hear and what's helpful and what's not and stuff. And I think that makes a lot of sense that you can give them some tidbits that actually would be helpful over things that are more just kind of pie in the sky if everything goes perfectly kind of thing. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
nine
that makes
times out of
sense.
10 it does not go perfectly.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a mad scramble out there most of the time for sure. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I know Cece's ready over there now, and I know he's got some questions for you, so I'll kick it over to him.
Okay.
All right. We're going to get a little lighthearted here in a second. I do want to ask you, though, you had an accident, a training accident, that led to your retirement from being a jockey. Can you tell me what all you broke when you had your
Um,
accident?
yeah, I was at Oaklawn. We had just left Turfway and we were getting ready to start the Oaklawn meet. I was working for Jason Barkley. I was riding probably, I never rode her in the afternoon, but definitely by far my favorite horse. And nobody else could really ride her. She was bad. Um, she had a heart attack at the
Mm.
7/8 pole galloping out after a breeze, her last breeze before she was gonna run. And I shattered my collarbone. I have a plate and 7 screws in my collarbone. I fractured my sternum, my pelvis, and 8 ribs. Couple broke, couple just fractured and bruised. But yeah, collarbone, sternum, pelvis, and 8 ribs.
And that just
Bless.
kind of soured.
After that, like I went back to riding fairly quickly, like 6 weeks. I went back
What?
to galloping. Yeah, 6 weeks. My pelvis was like a hairline fracture. It really wasn't that bad. It was more uncomfortable. Like I feel it like when it gets cold, more arthritic type deal, but my pelvis really wasn't that bad. Ribs, there's nothing you can really do for those, so that's just here nor there. Um, and my sternum, same thing, just like a small fracture right up the middle, like very hairline, not all the way through, so very minor. It really like it hurt once I had the plate and the screws in my chest, like in my collarbone. Like my collarbone didn't even hurt anymore. Like it was stable, but like that's when everything else hurt. Like my ribs and my sternum, like it hurt to breathe. But I mean, I went after I had my surgery, I was in a sling and I was back in the barn. Like I was there for my daughter was 5 months old too. Like that I think it was harder to be home and try to take care of my daughter because I only had one arm and she was a very chunky baby. She was 25 pounds at 5 months. So like
Oh,
that was harder than I could still, so it was my left collarbone. So like I could still walk horses. Like the groom would just put the shank on for me. Like I was fine to work. Like I still walked horses and like oversaw training and things like that. But I went back to galloping like 6 weeks. As soon as I got the staples out of my shoulder and the doctor was like, "Yeah, you're good to go." Like I was back on horses the next day. Yeah. And the pony. Yeah, I rode the pony for a couple days before I went back to galloping, but once when I was fine on the pony, I was like, all right, like I'm pretty sure like one of the first horses that I got back on, I breezed. The horse's name was Hirsch, big red horse with a white face. The jock didn't show up and Jason was like, "You think you can do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure,
oh.
why not? We'll be fine. It's fine."
You're insane. That's
I get
amazing.
that a lot as well. I get that a lot. You're crazy. I got that a lot when I was pregnant and still riding. You're crazy when I went back to riding after I had my surgery. You're crazy. I get that a lot.
That's amazing. That's awesome too, though. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to ask you a bunch of rapid fire questions. You
Okay.
answer. We're going to go easy first, then we're going to get to the difficult stuff later. But there's no wrong answers. Well, maybe there is one wrong answer. I don't know, but we'll find out. And if you're allowed to say pass on just one or two of these.
Okay.
If you don't, you lose the game. Okay.
Are these like one word answers or like
Yeah, it's gonna
like
get
short answer, short answer?
initially it's gonna get easy, then the level of difficulty increases. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Coffee before training or after training?
After
Churchill Downs or Keeneland?
Churchill.
Dirt or turf?
Turf.
Favorite racetrack breakfast?
Fairgrounds.
By the way, is the Ellis Park Track Kitchen open
No, but there's a phenomenal taco truck outside. It's so good.
I
on the
gotta say,
backside?
Fairgrounds Track Kitchen, bar none, the best in the world. So I agree with that.
Agree.
What about like, I haven't had Keeneland in a long time. Like,
Keeneland's very traditional. It's very good. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. There's just something about fair. Like they just have everything. You can get traditional breakfast there. You can get tacos. You name it, you can get it at fairgrounds. Like
But
there's so many options.
you said there's a taco truck on the backside
At
or
here at Ellis, there's a
at
taco
Alice?
truck. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, favorite post race celebration after a victory?
When I bought my baby goats after Join ran, after Join won, we went and bought baby goats. That's how I got my baby goats.
Where do you keep the goats?
They
At the
they
barn?
roam around. I tie them up during training, but after training's over, they run loose around the backside, and they're always back at the barn in the morning for training. So,
If you weren't training horses, what would you be doing?
ooh, that's a good question. I think I would like to be a chef. I love to cook.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay.
She says that, y'all, and she's got Domino's on the way right now. She's already
Hey,
told us.
listen, I was on my way to the grocery store when you guys called, okay?
Fair
Time
point.
change
Fair
here.
point. Fair point.
Uh, introvert or outgoing?
Ooh, both. It depends on who you are.
Are you a planner or do you wing it?
Wing it. It's so bad.
Competitive or laid back?
Competitive.
Sweet or sarcastic?
Sarcastic.
Always early, just on time, or late?
Just on time every time.
Steak or seafood?
Ooh, steak.
Pizza or
Both.
pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Favorite fast food restaurant?
Ooh, fast food restaurant. Chick-fil-A.
When's the last time you've been on a vacation?
Ugh. I don't know.
If you
I really don't know.
if you could go on a vacation, where would you go? Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Road trip or fly?
Why?
Can you sing?
I think I can.
Can you dance?
Yes.
What's one thing you're terrible at?
Asking for help when I need it.
Favorite jockey growing up?
Favorite jockey growing up was when I was younger. Oh, it was Jane McGraw when I was younger.
Jane McGraw. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite famous racehorse of all time?
Famous Arrogate.
Outside of the Kentucky Derby, what's the one race you'd like to win?
Outside of the Kentucky Derby. Um, probably the Haskell. That's another big one. And Lindsay just won it, and it's just so great for her. But yeah, Haskell is definitely on the list.
Are you friends with Lindsay Schultz?
I am. She shipped her horse into me this weekend.
Ah, cool. Oh, by the way, Arch You Ready was owned by Ted Server, whose son, Trey Server, has filled in on the show from time to time. So
Yes, exactly. I still talk to them.
yeah, interesting connection. Okay. All right, last few. What's one thing in your refrigerator that would surprise people?
That would surprise people. Probably almond milk.
Almond milk is surprisingly okay, and it never goes sour.
Yeah, I use it for my protein shakes. That's what I have them
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. If someone made a movie about your life, who would play you?
I mean, I can't star in my own movie. I'm
No.
already basically famous since I'm on your show, right? So like,
I like the
You're
way
on
you
your way.
think. That's a good question. I don't know. Pass.
Pass. All right, that's one. You got one. So one more
Okay.
to go. If your friends had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say?
I'm the friend that people, when you meet me, they're like, just give her a chance. You'll really like her, but she's kind of a bitch. Yeah, that's yeah. That's
What
me.
does that mean? Wait a minute. Whoa, time out.
That's a fantastic answer.
I have no serious like I have I've had people tell me like I'm intimidating, like on the racetrack or at work. Like they're like, you just have a bitch face all the time. I've had people be like, are you mean or like are you nice? I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mind my business. Like, what? I don't mean to look that way, but I'm the kind of person that, like, if you're my friend and you're introducing me to people outside of like our normal friend group, I'm very judgy because I have a very small friend group. So if I'm getting introduced to somebody outside of the friend group, I'm usually like, I want to know who you really are before I decide whether or not I like you. So I'm like the warning friend that people tell you about. Like, you're gonna like my friend, but she's kind of a bitch. That's me.
Noted. You ever get in a fight in the jockey's quarters?
Yes, Belterra.
Fist fight?
Yeah,
Did you win?
With
male jockey.
Did you did you
I
win?
I I threw one punch and my valet picked me up and threw me over his shoulder and took me back to the female side of the room. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
tell us off air who it was, okay?
Yeah,
That's
fair.
that's hey, that's not great radio, Alan. All right, I'm done. Back to Alan.
Those are some great questions. I learned quite a bit about Shelby right there.
Those were better answers
those
than
were some really
questions,
good
I think, in my
questions.
opinion. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you just two quick things, and we're going to let you go, Shelby. You're a wonderful guest. You may not even have noticed, but are you getting sick of seeing that Auxiliary Gate podcast shown over the TVs at Ellis Park the last 2 weeks? Have you noticed them?
I've noticed them, but I don't think it's like they look good.
CC did that. CC did
They
that. So
look great. Yeah.
yeah, they're everywhere and stuff. So that's the Churchill Cruise guys that do that or whatever. So that's question one. Question two is anytime a jockey wins their first race, right? We always ask this. I'm gonna turn this around. You get doused, and I seen the video. You got doused when you won your first race at TV. They got you good. Okay.
Yeah.
We always ask that. So I know the answer there. What I want to know is, since that happened to you, did you get the opportunity to douse another first time winning jock? Because I bet you'd be good at it and you would look forward to it.
Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever
Really?
been. Uh-uh.
That sucks. It's a hole in your resume.
But so one of my really good friends she rode her 3 races already, but she's getting ready. She tore her ACL and she's getting ready to go back to riding races. And I will make sure I am there for her like, I have to be there. Like, that is like, I have to be there just to drown her. And for the moment, I have to be there for hers for
What's her
sure.
name? I probably could figure it out.
Camilla Hargrove.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. I recognize that name. Did she ride for
Yeah.
Wesley Ward or something?
Yes, she used to work for Wesley. Now she's at Saratoga for Ray Handel right now. So
Okay.
I know she's getting ready to. They've got so many rules at Saratoga about bug riders and things like that, and what horses they can ride. So trying to find her a horse to ride there is kind of proving a little difficult. But yeah, so I really love to be there for her first win.
So when she gets it, she knows she better watch out for you, right?
Oh, absolutely,
You're coming loaded for bear. Well, I tell you what,
absolutely.
Shelby, you are an entertaining guest. We can absolutely say that. You're obviously a fantastic trainer. That winning percentage speaks for itself, right? And we look forward to seeing you at the racetrack. We're going to be up there this weekend at Ellis. I know you got a couple horses running. I think that's on Friday, though. But we'd love to meet
Yeah.
you.
All right. Perfect. Great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us and continued success, folks. That is Shelbi Kurtz.
All right, Shelbi Kurtz. That was a lot of fun. She's pretty
She was a
cool.
lot of fun.
Yeah, she was
So
awesome.
since she wouldn't come up with who would play herself in the movie, maybe we should do that for her since I know she's going to listen to this. So, Geoff, who you got? Who should play her in a movie for herself?
I think Amy Adams would be a good pick. She's like kind of under the radar, but she's got, that edge to her as well. I think she'd be good.
I'm thinking maybe a young Christina Applegate. That would work. Maybe a Kristen Wiig in
What?
Snap, but I'm sure there's plenty of others. I mean,
I know she didn't look like her, but is it Hillary Swank, the $1 million baby?
Yeah.
yeah.
Hillary Swank. I think that'd be good. That'd be good.
A young Hillary Swank. So there's four for you,
Yeah.
Shelby,
Yeah.
for listening to this.
All right. All right. We're gonna wind it up. I got a couple things I want to talk about first.
Okay.
First, Ellis Park, big day, big weekend coming up Saturday and Sunday. 2 stakes races on Saturday. We've got the Riverside Rush and the Hummingbird. This is going to replace the old Kentucky Downs preview. I guess that's a thing of the past now. You got an oversubscribed field of 15 in the Riverside Rush. You've got 12 in the Hummingbird. Both races 5.5 furlongs on the grass. Fanshell Beach, I think, raced at Royal Ascot last time, and now he's here at Ellis. And then in the Hummingbird, you've got Big Trouble, Me Governor, Rojo Rita, Satin Blue, really nice field. Buttercream Babes in there. And then on Sunday, you get 5 stakes races, all on the grass, big fields in most of it. I take about eight in the pucker up. That's used to be a graded stakes. They've taken the grade away from it, but whatever. Eight in there. You've got the Water Tower, 9-horse field, the Tri-State Turf Sprint, $250,000. Doncho not going here. Doncho going to Saratoga. World record holder Doncho, but you get Joe Shiesty and Troubleshooting, who I think would be tough to beat in there. I'm sure the Sun-Kissed Stakes, Fillies and Mary 1 mile on the turf. 14 entered, only 12 can go. And then you've got the Green River Island, which apparently is something in the middle of the Ohio River nearby. But a field of 15 there. That is a mile and 16th on the grass. They did away with the mile and a quarter race, which I hate to hear that. But yeah, so get out to Ellis Park. The Jimmy Church Band coming on Saturday. I saw them about 20 years ago, and it's imprinted into my memory. They were a good time.
I like that Ellis has been doing that with those with the live music after the races and everything. It's been cool.
Should be fun. All right. I got one more question for you. All right, we've all hosted now. We've done 2 days each. Well, Geoff's done like 400.
Yeah.
Turfway. But I got a question for you. Well, 2 questions. Let's break it down into 2. Have you ever crapped all over a horse pre-race and then it comes back and wins?
No.
How do you
Of course I have. Yeah.
How do you let that just roll off your back, or does it bother you a little bit?
It of course it bothers you, but you kind of have to let it roll off your back. Mine are the ones where it's like it's a maiden that's like 0 for 19 with 12 seconds, and I'm like, I go in my whole spiel about this is the exact kind of horse that I like to play against, and then of course they find the one field they can beat. So those are tough to swallow, but it happens. It happens.
Well, you have to take stands, but secondly, I don't think I've taken a tough stand like that. I've just, you have to have underlays against and blah 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 because that's what they require. But I think people can, if you can tell like who you like and who you don't like, and you just got to be semi-diplomatic. You have to be somewhat, opinionated, but just try to be a
that's
little
my
diplomatic.
question then. All right, that was my second question. Do you want your analyst to be diplomatic, or do you want him to tell the truth how you feel about the horse? Because I tell you right off the bat, I don't like a horse. He's not for me. That's my code for.
Yeah.
I hate this.
So
I hate this horse.
I think we all understand the code. I think it just watching races in general, we all understand the code. And there's little, I don't know, the visual and verbal clues that people give. It's like, I don't think this horse has a fucking chance. But you can't, and you shouldn't say that because there are people who care about the horse and who train the horse that are listening to stuff. But I think we all know that, even though we're fairly new at this, I mean, we've watched enough. We understand the code. It was like, okay, he's not for me. And sometimes it's you the whole thing with the odds and this and that and such too. So I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question properly, but
it's a fine line. It's a tightrope to walk because
I think so. Yeah.
you do enough of them, you're going to get burned.
Oh, of course. It have to be.
And probably going to get burned several in a row.
Yeah, it's all part of it, and I think anybody in horse racing in general knows. If you're around it, horses are going to make you look smart and horses are going to make you look stupid. And both those things are going to happen. You just kind of have to know that that's the reality of it.
Yeah. Ultimately, I want to know, do they appreciate you
True
telling
candor?
the truth? Are you telling the truth, or do they appreciate, hey, you're buttering up this horse that I like a little bit?
Yeah.
I think people like to hear both. Yeah, I think that's the nature of
you can't do both,
humans as well.
You can't do both though.
I'm saying you just got to do what you're doing because people are gonna like what they like and not like what they like, and they're gonna look at races from different points of view, and some people who are going to like more one thing than the other. So you just kind of have
Well,
to
yeah,
be you, and then hey, it is what it is.
I would be fearful of talking somebody off a horse that they really liked,
Yeah.
Yes.
which I gotta watch that going forward. But
Mm,
the only horse you should talk somebody off of maybe be a heavy favorite that you don't like. I guess
fair.
I
maybe
think
I
that's a
don't.
good point. Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think one of
I'll
the
never talk somebody off of a 30-1 horse that they like. I mean, if
Right,
you like something about that horse, I'm more power to you. I mean, there are people who come
right.
up with those, and Alan Schneider being one of those guys who will come up with a horse that I think has absolutely zero chance, and I'm never going to talk him off of a long shot he sees because he thinks things that I don't. Also, Kevin Kilroy's another one that'll come up with some creative horses that I just can't see, and he's had some winners that way too. So long shots in particular, there's no way I'm ever talking you off of that.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel. At 6 to 5, those are a dime a dozen. People
Yeah.
patting themselves on the back, or taking a bow for picking a 4 to 5 shots, like whoop de doo. I mean, sometimes that's the way it is, and you have to accept that or whatever. But yes, I agree with that.
All right, we've talked enough. Anything else you want to add?
Oh no, Shelby did enough. Shelby's awesome.
Okay, come to Ellis Park this weekend, or at least wager on it at home. There's a chance Bull Butter will be there. We're working out the logistics, but Bull Butter says he intends to be there at least on Saturday.
He and Cece are buying beers. Anybody, the first 10 people that come up and recognize Cece told us off air that he will buy them beers, and not on
Best on
Dollar
a
Day
dollar
either.
day.
On
Dollar
No,
day.
Sunday, on
Yeah.
Sunday maybe, not
Yeah.
on Saturday, not on Saturday.
I'll be the first one. I'll get that free beer. I know him.
All right, that's enough. On behalf of our guest, Shelbi Kurtz, Alan Schneider, Jeff Riggs, and a cast of thousands, I'm CC Broaddus, reminding you that gambling money ain't got no home. Good night.